we're going to go back to Dr. Cox and talk about, you want to talk about, that specific demographic and how we are doing with mental health and how we enter the system and how the system deals with us and the opportunities available to us.
So Equitas Health is another integrated, and especially in the East Side, it's just wonderful. All the people are people of color and different sexual orientation, visibly very different care providers population. So that's where I refer some of my patients to. And I don't know about you, but again, it's just even a visible presentation of healthcare providers when you are just really in need, is very important. And that's a problem with the recovery community in Columbus, Ohio, or Ohio in general, is that if I send any AA, alcoholic, heroin addict to AA or not other Al-Anon, it's not anonymous, please, so it's not, it doesn't work. So it's a very different system for some of my patients who are biracial, multiracial, or they look visibly different or having a Japanese name or Asian name. Some of that system that works for white people or, it doesn't work. Even when, we're trying to, we're thinking about doing like a AA for Asians, it's like of itself is just such a, problematic structure. So we need to really come up with our own recovery model so that, we can still continue to have the benefit of that community, in the recovery. But it's been very, very difficult, especially for that. And in terms of the pipeline, I have been working on this pipeline issues for promoting, continue to promote people of color to be a frontline therapist and care providers. But, of course, remember, if we have, as a community, have a stigma about mental health, who wants to be a social worker? Who wants to be a therapist? Who wants to be a psychiatrist? Who wants to be a psychologist, So that's why I'm just going out there, in Columbus Public School and doing the, career day, talking about, some benefit of being a helper, and just being there. And that's where I can sell, because I have a sports psychology that's kind of sexy for kids, So if I talk about sports psychology, it's like, oh, well, maybe, So there might be a way to just really get the pipeline going to get out there and educating young people. This is a viable option. But as you know, in terms of, getting that salary and money, just like, I was talking to you about my son, and versus being an emergency room doctor, there's again is a discrepancy of a serious one for the income as a social worker, counselor, psychologist, versus neuropsychology as a hospital or brain surgeon or, whatever. And as we all know, Victor, right? I mean, we have to go to school for a long time, and if you can just be a psychiatrist, going shorter time than we do as a clinical psychology and getting a board certified way before we get licensed as a psychologist, I mean, and then the income is this. Who wants to spend all your 20s going to grad school and even a postdoc? I remember the income differences of postdoc in San Francisco General Hospital as a psychology postdoc to psychiatry, postdoc people, it was just like a big difference in San Francisco back in the 80s, So the point is we need to really look at that structure to really educate people, but somehow it's a viable career opportunity for young people to get into as well, because we just really, have the demographic, of mental health providers haven't changed, and it's really a difficult process. So every time, public health invited me to talk, that's one thing I'm just, talking about pipeline. So
awesome. Thank you so much, Dr. Cox.